Pineapple on your pizza?
No. I like pineapple, but not on a pizza.
Not on a pizza. I think I know the first answer. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
I had an unfair advantage. I had a little nosy.
While I'm drinking a green tea.
Exactly. Healthy option. Beach holiday or city break?
Beach holiday.
Definitely?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Netflix, binge watch or board game?
Board game.
Pineapple on your pizza?
No. I like pineapple, but not on a pizza.
Not on a pizza. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
That's good. Good habit. Concert or comedy show?
Comedy show.
Yeah, I like a good laugh. Winter snow or summer sun?
Summer sun.
Camping or five-star hotel?
Depends on the need, but I'd say camping is the first thought.
Really?
Yeah.
How interesting. Texting or talking?
Texting.
Yeah. Very good. Good. 10 out of 10 for that. Well done. As we move on, tell me about the business. Tell me about your story. What is it you do?
Yeah, so I went on a big journey with my health with Crohn's disease for the people that are listening. So Crohn's disease is inflammatory bowel disease which impacts any part of the digestive system from the throat to the rectum. For me, it was in the small intestine. I got it at 11 years old, so when I was 11, it was the day before I started high school, and being told I got this disease was overwhelming, confusing, and I didn't know where to turn. But because I got it at such a young age, it left me being unable to absorb nutrients from my food very well, so it stunted my growth at an early age, and had a huge impact on my health as I got older, because it just got worse as I progressed. So like the vast majority of my life I've been unwell essentially, and fast forward to like 2016, I had a bowel perforation, and that bowel perforation left me with 1 foot of intestine having to be chopped out and a stoma put in its place, and my health just deteriorated from there. So I was kind of a slave to the medical system from the age of 11, probably younger actually. It was 11 when I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, but certainly up until my bowel perforated when I was 26 years old.
Wow.
I'm now 35, and I was just kind of, I used to listen to the doctors. My parents used to say, like trust the doctors, follow their advice, all the medication. So I was on medication for like 16 years, and it's worse, I was on like 14 tablets a day. And with that, when my bowel perforated, I decided to like take power into my own hands. Like I've kind of been passively just been listening to doctors all my life, thinking it was normal being on this medication. And I started going down a rabbit hole of like natural healing, and I discovered medicinal plants and all the benefits that came with them. And now I'm now an expert in plant medicine and herbal medicine, where I came off all medication after them 16 years, after a bowel perforation, after being told by doctors that it could happen again. So I've been medication-free and symptom-free for the last 8 years.
Wow.
A big part of that is lifestyle, managing my stress, and these plants I have as a combined medicine. So like over the years, I've in my kitchen actually, I have like 30 different jars of different herbs and plants, and I know like whoever's in the home and they might have an illness, like if I don't know, a cold, simple one, I know right, I can make them a blend. Oh, we've got elderberries, we've got echinacea root, let's make them a blend, even for myself. And then what happened was, it was my medicine. Like because I've come off all conventional pharmaceutical medicine, I leaned into what's natural, and I wanted to kind of make this normal in society. Like natural healing is kind of relegated to woo-woo or alternative medicine, and it should be at the forefront. Like say for example, coffee is just normalized. Everyone drinks coffee for various reasons, to perk them up, for the taste, whatever it may be. And I was like, but why are we not drinking consciously to heal? If we're going to drink something every day as a daily habit, why is it not something that's going to reduce inflammation, to improve their gut integrity, to essentially fuel their second brain, which is your gut. It has 100 million neurotransmitters. Your brain has 500 million. So, and they speak directly to each other. Whereas, say, for caffeine, it's a stimulant. It's acidic. It can cause an inflammatory response as well. So, on my journey, I became a gut health coach, and that came off the back of my journey, sharing my story online of what I achieved with my health. But prior to that, I was in the tech industry for 10 years. I've had various jobs in being a DevOps engineer, for example, is probably one of my more recent roles before I pursued Fifth Ray. And so what Fifth Ray is essentially all my knowledge from plant medicine is I created a super blend to help other people with gut and digestive issues, because people with gut and digestive issues, they feel powerless. A bit like how I was. I relied on the medical system to heal me, but they never really healed. They just maintained my sickness and then introduced a new drug, and put all that into your hopes and dreams into a new drug. Oh, this is going to resolve your problems, but that works for a short term, and then here's a new one, and then it's just endless cycle of these prescription drugs, and it just goes on for years and years and years. And actually, my health was deteriorating, but I'm not the only one who's in that position. I mean, there's like millions of people around the world in that situation.
Absolutely.
So then when I decided like I want to turn my trauma into triumph and help empower other people, because like Fifth Ray's mission is to empower people to become their own healers. A lot of people are confused. They're like, when they go looking for answers, you start thinking, right, I resonate with this person, but they're telling me to have a carnivore diet. But this person over there is saying, oh, why don't you do a vegan diet? And people are sharing their own experiences, and then this information that contradicts each other as well. And we want to make it clear, like, we want to empower the people. We're not telling people, like, this is what you must do, but give you the tools and the guidance and our product, Cosmic Q, which is this super blend of 7 plants that have now helped over 30,000 people. And we launched last year. So in a short space of time, it's really proven that it can overcome other digestive issues. Like myself, I had Crohn's, but people with Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, even other ailments like IBS, for example, bloating, like people are really, really overcoming them symptoms and getting their life back as well. People want to live normal lives. I certainly wanted to live a normal life for a long time, especially getting at 11. I was just plodding along. I wasn't thriving in all them years, but now I'm thriving for sure. So I know your question was quite open-ended, and I've shared quite a bit there, but I think that's...
It's, well, thank you. And I appreciate that. And what a journey. Life becomes normal, doesn't it? When you're eating, what did he say, 14 tablets a day?
Yes.
But that shouldn't be normal. It becomes normal because that's what you've been told at such a young age for so many years. Never mind the side effects, never mind the fact that some doctors are doing test to measure and less, process of elimination.
Yeah.
And it's what a horrible experience. And I'm so glad. So what was the turning point? Or what point did you say, oh, it was the bowel perforation? That's what was the turning point, wasn't it?
I think it came to end of the road, really. It was a turning point because I realised there's something fundamentally wrong at this point. Like I've been a bit passive with my health at that point because it was normalised. Oh, if my stomach hurt, it's just the Crohn's disease playing up. And I just know like what the symptoms were. If I ate something that I knew would trigger me, I'd be like, oh, I know I'm going to suffer. It's fine. I'll deal with it. And when the bowel perforation happened, I'm like, I can't think like that and I can't act like that anymore.
Yeah, it's mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, it is mindset. And I shifted the mindset in an instant to actually go looking for the answers myself.
Have you brought any of your product for us to try and test?
Yeah, I went looking for it and I don't have any left at home. So, that's what I wanted to say before we started this podcast. I'll send me your details. I'll get it shipped out.
Okay, awesome. We'll have to get some affiliate links and all of that good stuff as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll send you some. I'd love to understand how the business is. I'd love to tell you about how we're helping other businesses.
Yeah,
on a side note, there might be some synergy. Is that your full-time business now, or is that a side hustle and you're doing something else?
No, this is a full-time business.
That's your full-time thing.
Yeah.
And how long have you been running this business?
We launched March 2024, so it's been...
Wow, okay, just over a year?
Yeah, just over a year, yeah.
And how's business?
It's thriving, yeah.
Really?
Like, out the gates, it just
Brilliant.
resonated with a lot of people.
Brilliant.
Even the skeptics out there, like, well, I can't see how this would work, like... But we've turned a lot of skeptics into believers, and now we have over 30,000 customers.
Awesome.
And they're all thriving off the back of...
Fantastic. I'm delighted to hear that.
Thank you.
I'm delighted to hear that. There's two reasons I'm delighted. Number one is, personally, I'm a strong believer on that holistic approach, that herbal approach, that natural approach, as opposed to medicines.
Yeah.
In our family, we don't take any medicines. I can tell you some horrific stories. Dad, more than 20 years ago, had a heart attack, got put on loads of different medicines, and they just didn't sit well with him. And he drew a line, and he didn't take any medicines. I'm not advocating everyone should say no to medicines, but you should have the ability to decide whether you want to go down that route or not down that route. And you should explore, like you did, are there any other herbal options? Because a lot of medication has side effects and other challenges that come associated with them. 9 times out of 10, from my experience, before all the doctors jump all over me, is some of the doctors are doing, again, trial and error. They're just testing it. Let's see if this medicine fixes you. If it doesn't come back, we'll try something else. Not ideal, because you're just a guinea pig.
Yeah, and that was me from a young age. I was a guinea pig. That's how I describe it as well. It is a lot of trial and error. There was one medication called mesalazine. I was on it for 10 years. At some point in my mid-teens, I was just like, I don't want this anymore. Like, I just stopped taking it. And then the doctor knew I stopped taking it because I wasn't getting more prescription. And I would actually get told off by the doctors. And then eventually I went back on it, and then they stopped one day. And I said, how come you not give me mesalazine? They were like, we've discovered it doesn't help with Crohn's disease. It only helps with colitis. So I was like, but I've been on this for 10 years, and you're telling me it wasn't treating my illness this whole time, but it was actually more effective for a different illness. I'm like, this is just like negligent and poor. Mm-hmm. So, and you touched on something really important there, is that it comes with a whole host of side effects. They try to treat one symptom, but then they give you all these different side effects. And the difference between like big pharma medicine or Western medicine versus the holistic way is Western medicine tries to go for symptoms, not the root. Whereas like fifth ray and holistic healing always try to target the root and heal from that point of view. Whereas like the healthcare system's broken at this moment. Like I have a lot of love for the NHS. They helped heal me in a lot of ways. But overall, they're not healing centres at all. That's the thing.
Yeah, and just a point on that. I mean, the NHS are great for all the right reasons. And this isn't just trying to bash the NHS. It's about saying they are right, they're great, the intent is in the right place. But right on the front end of where they're delivering, they're not offering the best solution to the UK, to our community. And something needs to be done. That's they should see that as critique or some positive, reflection to say there's a lot of improvements that need to be made. You've developed your own potion?
Yeah, is one way of putting it. I like to call it an elixir. You drink it, you steep it as a tea, and people resonate with tea because tea's probably the most drink in the world after water. Yeah. So, but essentially, you steep it as a tea. It comes as its raw format. Like it's not in a tea bag, but it's in its loose format. And you can identify each different plant in the blend because it's. If I compare it to like generic tea, like this one here, like that looked like dusty little pieces of green tea, whereas this is like the full, the whole plant.
The plant, the leaf, the whole thing.
Yeah, and you can see the blend of them. But
how interesting.
There's because it's more concentrated, it's more potent in that way, which is why it's helping so many people as well.
And I loved what you said earlier on with regards to if you're going to drink something through the day, why don't you drink something that's going to help and heal you? Yeah. That's really logical. I'm drinking coffee now, not for any other reason. I purposely not put milk in because sometimes I feel a bit bloated with milk, and just a black coffee, I just feel that's a little bit lighter. But herbal teas is something I should drink more of.
Yeah, I mean, it's personal preference. It depends what you desire, but I mean, it's not nothing against coffee. Coffee is normalised, but why isn't herbal tea normalised? You know, most people think of herbal tea, they think of a green tea, maybe a peppermint, and they're just like, yeah, okay, I don't like the taste, but I know I should have it, and you haven't got much flexibility with like a green tea in terms of like adding milk or sweetener, like where coffee you can be quite creative with it.
Absolutely creative.
Like you having it in a simple way, which is also creative in itself, just having a black coffee.
Black coffee, yeah. Tell me more about the business. So you've been running it just a little bit over a year. You said you got over 30,000 customers.
Yeah.
UK-wide, worldwide?
We're focused just on the UK at the moment.
UK market,
Yeah.
fantastic. Well done. What's your biggest challenge right now with that business?
Speaking to the right people, and when as in the right people, as in the audience, because when we first launched, it was kind of built off the back of my journey, and that resonated with a lot of people. But you know, people we're emotional creatures, humans,
Of course.
and like let's just say. We say, all right, we've got this great Cosmic Q is proven to help with reducing inflammation, strengthening your immune system, toning and repairing your gut lining, which sounds cool and it's true.
Yeah.
But how does that relate to someone's everyday life? And it's the biggest challenge at the moment that we're doing well to overcome actually is speaking to people in their own language of understanding like what's happening is people's lives are being disrupted by their health, their gut and digestive health. They may be anxious going out in public settings. They might not feel confident in their clothes because they're bloated, for example, or their career's been impacted because they have to work from home more often. And it's understanding how do we communicate with our audience in the most effective way for us to relate to each other so they know they're not alone and there is support out there and we're that big support for them.
How interesting. So if and with regards to your marketing and your strategy and getting that comes out, do you do it? Do you have a team with you? Do you have people working with you, or are you? What's your makeup of your business?
It's a mixture of in-house freelancers and agencies. So
Brilliant.
We have 12 people actively working on Fifth Ray.
Brilliant.
And that's a mixture of the marketing team, so that could be media buyers, email marketing team, CRO expert, finance, and various other areas. And as a founder, like I'm wearing all the hats constantly.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
like I'm at the beginning. It's me and a co-founder who's my cousin brother Gurj, and we're doing this together. And you always have to wear your own hats. You know, as yourself, you're wearing all the hats.
Yeah.
So
Turbans in my case.
yeah, you got the fag on in this case, but
That's it.
But that's where the fun is. I love kind of dipping my toe in everything because I'm a really creative person as well. Like and having a logical, analytical mind from my tech industry, tech experience. Sorry. It fits really nicely, so it's exciting to kind of build out more and more people and kind of take one hat off and pass it maybe to another team member who's better at that area than I am as well.
You were talking about the challenge of communicating to your audience in a language that is meaningful to them, and then circling back to how your product or service, your product could be of value. From our experience, when we've talked to other founders or businesses, what we've found is ask the question, do a survey, speak to them, and let them actually fill in the gaps. You know, be a bit open in saying, you know, are you experiencing health challenges? What are your health challenges around? Is it to do with food, diet, you know, bloatingness? And you'll know all the language and the right kind of keywords to ask. But just kind of poke them questions and allow them to say, actually, it's this, this, and this. And kind of try to guide them in saying, you know, is it around that whole gut health conversation that, you know, you're obviously becoming an expert in, or is it something else? If it's something else, you can disqualify them. If it's something around gut, you can qualify them, and do that using, as you know, social. TikTok is probably gives you the quickest, fastest reach compared to all the other channels. But, you know, different demographics on the different channels will allow you to get your survey out, capture that data, capture that information, and then use that all that research, and then pepper that back in, weave that back into your narrative. Depending if you lean more towards organic or you use paid ads, there's different ways that you can do campaigns to actually talk about different narratives and bring people to your channel. So you use each social channel, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, say something which is very provocative, which talks to your audience as a paid ad, but bring them to your channel. On your channel is all organic content. And then that way you can be really efficient with your budgeting, with your strategy to get the right people to your channel. Let the channel then do the heavy lifting and then introduce the actual product and solution.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And this is something we're already exploring. Like our CRO expert, he's gathered all this data. Fantastic. So we've got different touch points on research, and it's a mixture of our research from our own customers and the consensus of people with digestive and gut issues in the UK based off the psychoanalysis and the emotional links to the health as well. And we kind of combined it all, and we're in the process now of weaving it into our paid ads, into the website, into the emails, even into SEO as well.
It sounds like you've already got that mapped out, which is great. It sounds like you're in the probably mid flow of execution.
Yeah.
Then I suppose it's I'm a strong believer of fail fast. So it's like putting campaigns out, seeing what kind of traction they get, rinse and repeat, and make continuous improvement on them, so you can make sure that you don't waste any ad spend. If it's amplified via ad spend, if it's organic, then that's a bit more forgiving. But obviously, it's a content creation. How important is video in your mix of comms? You talked about email, you talked about SEO, web, and all of that good stuff. How important is video in that whole mix?
It's probably the most important, I would say. I mean, I think if it was to rank it, like, we use a lot of static images and video, but the statics are great, but they're complementary to the videos.
Yeah.
Our audience resonate with the audience. Audience resonate with the video the best because they can. I think people just generally do anyway. But in terms of like our storytelling and our educational side of things is the video. Like, the email is complementary as well. SEO is definitely complementary, but I mean, video ranks number one for sure. And it's proven because most of our paid ads are video and they perform the best.
Knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently 20 years ago?
20 years ago, I probably would have been 15. So the thing is, like, I wouldn't have done anything different. I mean, experience has helped me along the way. But at 15, I don't know what changes I would have really made, because, like, I wouldn't be here if I didn't go on the journey that I've been on.
You had to be on that journey.
Yeah, I had to be on it. So if I changed the journey, I might not be sat here having this conversation. My health might have been better as a teenager, and I just would have just carried on with my life, perhaps. We don't know.
Possible. Yeah, fair point. And knowing what you do now, what would you say to the young generation? You're 15-year-olds now or 11-year-olds now, about gut health, about medicines, or about entrepreneurial aspect of business. What advice would you give to them?
But when it comes to health, like, take ownership of your health. Health is ultimate wealth. I mean, I always kind of break down freedom into 4 different areas. And before I touch on these 4 areas, is that every single person innately wants freedom in some fashion. Either consciously or subconsciously wants it, and that could be freedom from health, so having great health, so they're not then bound to, all right, I need to have this medication, I can't venture to this place because my health's poor, whatever it may be. Then you've got time freedom, having the time to do whatever you want, whenever you want. Like now, if I was still in my tech job 9 to 5, I wouldn't be able to sit here at this moment in time because I'd had to plan it in some fashion. The one is location freedom, being able to go anywhere around the world at any given time, and the ultimate one is financial freedom. Most people want to be financially free so they can just live their life, and I feel like if financial freedom kind of unlocks the other 3, because if you got financial freedom, and I don't mean being like a millionaire or billionaire, but I mean having enough abundance in your life to live the life that you want to live. And with that, you can have, you're more inclined to look after yourself. You might have better resources available, and financial freedom. You can work wherever you want, whenever you want, depending on what you do. So, to the younger generation, I'd say, from a young age, take care of your health and follow your passions as well, and the passions will lead to financial freedom too.
It's a great journey. What's your next big milestone? You know, you're just over a year old with regards to the business. What's your milestone? Is it you know, getting from 30,000 to 50,000? Is it a revenue goal? Is it something else?
It's to reach more people. I mean, I think as any business, you want to scale, but the scaling for us is we're healing people. Like, you know, it's seva. We're giving back to humanity. Is my way of serving others. Is empowering people to become their own healers and give them a powerful tool along the way. So the big milestone, there's multiple, but in terms of, it's a 1 million people mark, like 1 million customers, which is probably the moon goal. But I mean, there's ones along the way which would be 100,000 people.
Of course.
Along that is actually America. I actually really want to crack America, and I think we can do a great job of helping people out there, because their health is actually far worse than British people. In terms of the Western food out there has got more chemicals, it's more poisonous. Their healthcare, obviously, they pay for it like through insurance or whatever. At least we've got the luxury over here through the NHS. But yeah, I'd say next milestone, 100,000 customers and to break America.
Keep us posted when you hit your 100,000 customer, not pound, customer milestone. Circle back to me, tag me in your post, say we've done it, say Box Media, we're there. That'd be a great thing that we'd love to celebrate with you. On that journey, we wish you even more success, and hopefully you'll get to America sooner. You'll get there, but sooner as opposed to later. So wish you continued success with the mission.
I really appreciate that. Thank you, Rashpal.
No, you're welcome.